Chase, you look like you had a lot of fun out there. Tell us how the experience was first time in there.
I thought I'd be more nervous, but once the walkout started, I was just, couldn't stop smiling. I was having a good time, and I was just excited to get out there and kind of show off my skills.
That first choke, how surprised were you that he didn't tap from that? I thought he was going to be out there.
Yeah, he was gurgling a little bit, so I thought I was close to putting him out, but he started to slip out, so I figured I'd, still go to a dominant position, not really try to hold on to it because I didn't feel like it was there, and I went right to the mount and stayed there and worked out.
You won on Contender Series a few years ago. You got that developmental deal. You had a couple fights outside of that. How much did that help in this debut tonight just to prepare you for this moment?
It was, I think it was 100% necessary. I don't think I was ready with what I know now right after Contender. I definitely needed that little bit of extra time to kind of mature for like puberty to set in and all that, Now I got to shave once a week compared to like once a month, so I'm starting to grow into my body and I'm starting to get a better mind for fighting, and my skill set's going up and all that.
And you changed your nickname. You're now Dream instead of Teenage Dream, right?
Yeah, drop the Teenage Dream part, but if Reebok wants to make some Teenage Dream tanks, I'm down. I'll go back.
Can you be a little more specific about what the development deal entailed for you? Like when you made the transition, what allowed you to make the transition from being under that development deal to being a UFC fighter?
Yeah, so the developmental deal, before Contender, I was just fighting on the regional shows. I'd cut weight like 10 minutes from my house, drive another half hour to weigh-ins, and that was it. So there wasn't really a process to it. Maybe I'd do an interview after the fight or something, if some of the local places wanted to, but other than that, it was pretty bare bones. So getting to do stuff for the developmental deal where I have a target on my back because everybody else knows I'm on the developmental deal. I have to fly across the country to fight. All my fights were on the East Coast, so it was like a 3-hour time change, just dealing with that, dealing with cutting the weight there, all the media stuff I had to do, like flying out a week early and all that. It just kind of gave me the time and gave me the exposure to get ready for stuff like this.
A lot of the guys who win tonight are going to be going to the club. You're not even old enough to get in. Do you have a fake ID? I mean, what do you do tonight?
I think it'll be a little hard for me to sneak in. I don't look old enough, and if I'm decked out in all this UFC gear, people will probably assume. I think M&M World is the first stop, and then we'll see from there.
Joe Rogan said after he got back to the broadcast table, he said, "Man, I feel old. This guy just told me he's gonna go get some candy." Looks like you were serious about that.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of that's like my vice is caffeine and sugar. So I figure I'll kind of stay away from most of the other stuff for now, at least.
What did it mean to represent the Pacific Northwest? Michael Chiesa was here, Julian Peña's here. What does it mean to be from there and get this win tonight?
Yeah, it's super cool. I was actually training with Mike Chiesa literally the night before I flew out. He came over to my gym and was training with us. All of Rick Little's guys are super cool. And yeah, it's cool to be able to represent Enumclaw. It's a small little mountain town, but we have some of the best fighters in the world, and yeah, I was just happy to be able to show that.
I mean, how cool is that though, to be that guy that's that young and coming in here and whooping up on guys in the UFC? That's amazing.
Yeah, I've always been used to being the younger guy, but now it's kind of weird with our MMA team. I'm like the young guy still age-wise, but I'm the more experienced one. Like I'm helping all these 20-year-old dudes or older, the guys in their 20s and stuff. I'm like, oh, you got to do this and this to weight cut, and I'm like, kind of leading the pack to say.
How does your family feel about you cage fighting?
I think they've grown used to it. My girlfriend is pretty supportive about it. She doesn't like watching me fight, but she likes watching me win, and she definitely supports me in win or lose, and yeah, everybody's great about it.
Last thing for me, is that your opponent's blood on your leg I see there?
Yeah, this is a little bit of blood. I was really surprised. I've never actually cut anybody before. That first elbow from the mount just split him open, and yeah, he started leaking all over me. I had some on my elbow, clean it up because I didn't want to get any, AIDS blood or anything on me. So.
During the face-offs and sort of doing the tough guy routine, is that any more satisfying because of that?
I kind of, I'm used to dealing with guys like that. I've had people try to trash talk me in the cage and stuff like that. I think it's more just their strategy as, seeing a younger guy that they're fighting to try to rattle him a little bit. But honestly, when I go in there, I'm more like just go dark behind the eyes and just kind of, I'm kind of into it. And I don't care. It definitely makes it a little more satisfying, but it's a win, so I can't be mad about it.
During the fight, he hit you with a big right hand that seemed to, hurt you a little bit. Were you hurt at all during?
The only thing that really hurts right now is my neck from when he tried to rip it off, but I think when he hit me, it was more like the side of the neck. Like my jaw's not sore at all, and everything else is great.
You also said you're going to work on trying to get hit less. What do you plan to do to try and train and
I'm gonna just work on my striking overall and just kind of get more confident on pursuing the action on the feet. And for this fight, I felt like it was a big style difference. Like he was a really good striker, where I was a really good ground guy. So the clear path to victory was through the submission attempts, and so that's why I was more focused on the submissions.
Did you
fighter, or do you go to school, or do you just train all the time? Right?
Yeah. So this is my only job. I've never had an actual job before. I was able to kind of fight on the regional scene and make enough money to pay my bills until I got a shot on Contender, and then like when I was fighting on Contender, I only had $30 in my bank account because. Cost of living, I guess, and so everything's worked out perfectly, fighting as being my only job, so I'm sticking with it.
You gonna celebrate by watching some Pride videos?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't really understand the joke with that, so I figured I'd go with it. I'll probably watch some Pride after this.
Who's the coolest fighter you got to meet this week? Because you are a fan at heart, I'm sure, like the rest of us.
Max Holloway was super cool to me. Like he was talking to me a little bit. I think he understands. He also got into UFC when he was 20 years old, and he was a super great guy. Uriah Faber's a super cool dude. He's always like super chill. Joseph Benavidez, I see him wandering around. He's another cool guy. There's just so many I feel like at this high level, people aren't just mean mugging each other all the time. Like everybody respects that they're high level fighters, and they can still be cool dudes at the end of the day.
Now that you got the first UFC win, what are your goals for next year? As far as I know, this just happened, but do you have sort of an idea of what you want next year to look like?
Yeah, I plan on staying pretty busy next year. If I could get 2, 3, 4 fights, as long as I'm healthy, as long as I'm winning, I'm gonna keep trying to fight as much as I can and try to travel the world.
When you see a guy like Max, he's the end game for you. Like, how is that like? How to be a fan, but also he's so young, and you go also, I want to beat this guy eventually.
It's weird to see that because like you have it so like built up in your head. Like I thought I was gonna come in and Max Holloway was gonna be like here, but just like so much bigger than me. It just kind of brings everything back into perspective. Like he's just a normal dude, I'm just a normal dude. But he obviously has so much more experience in the UFC than I do, so. Now my job is more to rack that experience up and kind of work my way up the division.